Welcome to the latest episode of the Cohn Zohn. We're your hosts, Grant and Lowell. 49ers training camp theoretically will start in a weekish, and that's an interesting time in the sports year. We have a few things, 5 things that we're interested in seeing, 5 topics, the top 5 49ers topics heading into training camp, and we're going to list them and break them down in ascending order from number 5 to number 1, the most interesting and important topic the 49ers face at this time of the year. So, Dad, number 5, will there even be a football season for the 49ers to play?
Well, that clearly is a key topic, and I think it's still up in the air. As we talk, we're talking on, what is today? Tuesday.
21st.
Tuesday the 21st.
Yeah.
Baseball is playing their exhibition season, and real baseball starts on Thursday.
Yeah.
They have a 60-game abbreviated season. Well, that's certainly a test case for the NFL. Can baseball get through 60 games?
Mm-hmm.
Can they even get through 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what happens if someone, God forbid, comes up positive in a clubhouse on a team? I don't know what's going to happen. And Iggy, I would also add the NBA is you talk about that a little.
Yeah, it seems like the NBA went about it the right way. We don't know if they're going to have success, but they set up this thing called a bubble where they had all the players come to the area where they're going to play and quarantine for 2 weeks so that they could be certain that every player participating is COVID-free. So they came 2 weeks early. They got tested. If you left the bubble, you have to come back and quarantine again for 2 weeks. And now they just tested everyone and no one has it. So it seems like, I don't know if it'll maintain that, but right now it's like the gold standard in America of how to deal with this. And the disheartening part for the NFL is they've had months to figure this out, to watch the NBA, and they don't have a bubble. Like, the players are just showing up and then they're going to start working out and practicing. There's no 2-week quarantine period. So I'm curious to see if teams will have all of a sudden an outbreak where 16 guys get something like that, and all of a sudden you don't even have enough guys to practice. Well, that could happen.
Well, let me say this. Given my experience with the NFL, they're going to move heaven and earth to have a season. They are. It's a powerful league. It's a very money-oriented league, as I suppose it should be. I don't know. But in any event, they're going to move heaven and earth. Whether that's enough for them to have a season, I don't know. So I'm going to say, if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would bet a nickel, no more, that they're going to have a season. But I do that with fear and trembling. How about you?
I think I'm a little more optimistic. Yes, the owners are going to want to do it because there's billions of dollars on the line for them. But I think the players are also motivated too. Because unlike in baseball or basketball, where there's these guys that have guaranteed contracts and they're set for life, football players usually are only in the league for 2 or 3 years. They don't make a lot of money. Some of them only make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and not millions. So I think these guys also, they're gladiator types anyway, who accept big time risk, the risk of brain damage and things like that. I think there's going to be, the players are going to be just as motivated to have the season as the owners. The question is going to be week 3. What happens if a team, like I said, has an outbreak of COVID in the locker room and all of a sudden 20 guys are unable to play that week? How do you even field the team? Do you forfeit? What happens? And that could happen to multiple teams weekly. So there may be a season, but if they pull it off, it might be like the worst NFL season of all time and something that doesn't really resemble anything we've seen before.
One quick question, which I hadn't thought of when we made our topics. Do you know how you're supposed to cover the team? Here's what I mean. On game day, do you sit in the press box like we used to? I would sit next to you. Phil Barber would be on our left. Josh Dubow from AP would be on our right. Tim Kawakami and Andy Killian would be down there a little to the left. Ratto would be on the end. How is that going to work?
I talked to Matt Mayoko about it a couple of weeks ago, and he explained that the assumption is there will be no visiting media all year. So it's just going to be the home media. So that's about 50 people, and you'll spread out. It's a very big press. It's a very big press box.
It's like the whole length of the field. Yeah.
That was about a month ago when we talked. And since then, I mean, it's not even certain that Santa Clara will allow the 49ers to play games this year. It's possible that the Niners could have 16 road games. So who knows how I'm covering this team? I don't even know if I'll be making the commute down to Santa Clara or how often. Could be a lot of Zoom meetings.
Meaning, like after a game, let's assume you're in the press box after a game and you want to talk to Eric Armstead. You're not going into the locker room. So what they would do, they would bring him to a computer and he would talk to people in the press box.
Absolutely. I doubt I'll ever be in that locker room this year, ever.
Wow.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but I just want to impress upon our viewers how unusual that is, because part of being a sports writer is being in there with the sweat and the all the tape, all the white tape on the floor. I mean, you're right in the middle of it.
Okay. Right, your boots on the ground, and now I'm going to be still in my living room probably. But oh well.
Well, I'll keep you company.